All right, this is the weekly update from Mr. Fix's science class for the week of September 17th. All right, so on Monday, we went over the heat transfer key terms quiz. I went over what was correct answers, some of the misconceptions about them, and then we did some practice in class. And then on Tuesday, the following day, we did a little bit more practice, and then we did a retake of that quiz. So most students improved a lot. Now, if a student's still not happy with their grade, they can do some more practice with the Quizlet terms. So if you click on the Quizlet link, and they can do some practice. They can do flashcard practice. They can do learning mode. They can do write mode, spell mode, test mode. So a lot of ways they can practice and improve their understanding of these terms. So I encourage the students to do that, and then they come in during plus period, 8th period, after school or before school to do a retake. So that's available to them. Okay, then we also did the Penguin Shelter Engineering Challenge. So we did the group design and group build. So let's take a look at the group design. So here's the group design. So they had to do a scale drawing of their design with the top view and side view and to scale. So scale is 1 box equals 1 cubic centimeter. And then they had to write an explanation, complete sentence on how the shelter would protect against radiation from light bulbs shining down on their shelter, and then how their shelter would protect the penguin, ice cube penguin that's inside the shelter, from conduction from the 140-degree black bottom felt of the simulated Rockland Zoo summer, and from the 110-degree Fahrenheit air. So they had to explain that in their design. And then they were given a budget of $400. So this is the materials list, so they can't go over that budget. And so they had to fill out each item that they use, cost per item, which they get from this list right here, the quantity, so the quantity, the number of pieces of that item, times the item's cost, get the total item cost, and then they had to get the total project costs. So they worked with this in conjunction with that, and then they got their materials, and then they built their shelter. And then on Friday, we did some testing. So here's kind of like a little run through on the testing. So I gave them their ice cube penguin, and they put it in their shelter. I gave them the ice cube penguin, and then they measured the mass of their penguin. And they did it by using the balance. And then from here, we recorded their mass, and then we put it into their shelter, and then the shelter was placed into here. And while the penguin is in the shelter in here for 25 minutes, this might be happening to their ice cube penguin over that 25 minutes, some degree of melting. So then we take out that penguin after the 25 minutes, take the shelter out, and then we take the penguin out of the shelter, and then we record the mass again afterwards. And then what we do is record the results into the data table. So here's the data table. And when we do that, let's say the mass was 12.4 grams before 25 minutes. Let's say the mass was 7.65 grams afterwards. And then the percent mass change was calculated, and the percent mass remaining was calculated as well. And then if their shelter costs $400, then we get the ratio of basically how effective it was versus the cost it was. So the value, we basically calculate the value. So the higher the number, the more value it has. So we did that. And so this is going to lead us to next week, where they're going to do a redesign, and they're going to do a second test of their redesign and see if they improve at all. So that is basically what we did. They're recording it into page 13 of their reference notebook. So that's basically what we did this week. Hope you have a good weekend. Bye-bye.